What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Flake Garage. My name is Brian, and today we have Paco and Brian with me. We're gonna do the install on the power locks for Brian's Hardbody. We have the same install kit that we had on the Mazda. So we're gonna open it up again, show you guys what it comes with, and then we're gonna go ahead and start moving into the truck, removing the parts that we need to, and go ahead with the install. You excited, Brian? We're gonna have power locks finally?
Yeah, finally. I can't lock myself out no more.
So let's go ahead and open the box, and then we'll show you guys what the kit comes with, and then we'll move on to the next step. Let's do it. Alright guys, so as you can see here, we have the exact same kit we did on the Mazda. You're gonna have your 2 remotes, your control box, your 4 actuators, since the kit is for a 4-door, but we're only gonna be using 2 of them, which is gonna be the master actuator with the 5 cables and one of the slave ones. You have your wiring, your diagram and instruction manual, and then some hardware to actually install the actuators and obviously open the locks. So this kit you can find on Amazon. It's pretty cheap, so we'll link to it in the description. You guys can find it there, and you'll get everything you see here. So let's move on to the truck and start taking off the door panels so we can move on with the install. Alright guys, so here we have the Hardbody. So we're gonna start by removing the door panels first. We're gonna start with the driver's side today. So we need to take this door panel. First we're gonna take the speaker, and then move on to probably the handle and take it all off. Alright guys, so here we have the driver's side door off, and to get all of that out, obviously we need to take out our speaker. There's going to be a couple Phillips screws around that. Then you're going to take the door handle here, which is 2 screws right about here. Take the bezel off. That one should just kind of pop off. You might have to use some trim removal tools. We can link you guys to some of that if you need it, but pop that out, and then basically everything else is held in here with just clips. If you have a panel removal tool, that's going to be a lot easier, but as you can see here, some of the clips came off the actual door panel. That's also, that happens quite a bit, so we might end up just replacing all these ones just because they're old, but something to keep in mind. It's going to be all around the door, and then once you get those off, you should be able to just have your whole door panel out of the way. And then now we can move on to cleaning some of this and start looking for a position for the actual actuator in there. So let's get to it. Alright guys, check it out. So we have marked now the 2 spots where we're gonna drill. This is gonna have the, pass me the little actuator. So this is where our actuator is gonna go, and it's gonna go this way, so that way we can have access through the top here, so we can connect it to the lock mechanism. This should be out of the way. It's going to be out of the way of the glass itself, and then any of the moving parts, hopefully. So we just need a drill here. We're going to use a 1/8 drill bit and put it in place. So let's do it. Alright guys, so we have our first actuator in place. This is the driver's side door. And quick tip on that, if you're going to do it, the best place to drill your holes is going to be along the line that has the glue in it for your plastic that goes here. That's where we did it. As you can see here, we kind of drill a little bit further in, and that actually ended up not working out because no matter which way you flip the motor, it ended up hitting the small piece of the lock mechanism here. So that was a miscalculation from us, but now with this one, it's in place, it's out of the way from everything, and then you're able to lock it and open it with nothing hidden and nothing being in the way. We're gonna start doing this on the passenger side as well, and then we're gonna start moving into actually putting the lock mechanism in there and then doing the wiring. So let's get to it. Alright guys, so now we cut the little bars from the kit. They are cut about almost halfway. Then we're gonna put them in there and then twist them anywhere we need it to line up parallel with the lock mechanism. Then we have our hardware over here that we're gonna use. Put it in there and then lock it in place. So let's do that. Cool. All right, guys, so let's explain the wiring harness here. We have it all spread out. You are gonna have to trim a little bit of it. This is set up for 4 doors. So if we look at a harness, we're gonna have 2 short white and brown wires here. This is supposed to be if you want to add a switch inside of your truck that's gonna lock and unlock. This is where you would attach it. So we're gonna leave them like that. We don't have a switch right now. We'll add that one later on. Now you do have this purple wire with a fuse, and this is gonna be for your parking lights. So if you want to add, you know, the lights flashing when you lock and unlock your truck, that's where you're gonna attach them. We're not gonna do that right now, but we are gonna leave it because we want to do it in the future. So we're gonna just kind of zip tie this and put it to the side, saved up. Now you have your red with a fuse. This is gonna be your main power, and you have another black one over here. This is gonna be your ground. You do have a black wire that's split off of this one, and then you have a white, brown, blue, and green. They're all attached together at the end with tape. This is gonna be your wiring going to the driver's side. This is the main actuator. This controls the other ones. So you want to have those cables in there because if you do add the lock and unlock button, this is where it's going to, right here. Now, you will have 3 other set of blue and green wires for the remainder actuators. So what we did is we separated one of them. That was going to be our passenger door. So we're going to put that one to the side. And basically the other 4 wires, we ended up just cutting them because we're not going to put any rear doors or anything like that. Now there is also a orange wire that's going to be for a trunk release, and if you're doing this on a hard body, you don't have a trunk to release, so we can just cut that one out of the way too. Now that we have our wiring nice and trim and the way it's going to go in the truck, we can move into the truck and start doing the location of the central box and then running all the wires that we need to the doors. So let's do it. Alright guys, so now we are looking for a place for the control box, and we're going to put it kind of similar like we did on the Mazda and try to put it here in the center part. So we removed the center console here, we took the stereo out, and then what we're going to do is there's a spot back here. Hopefully if I can focus. So we're basically going to remove one of these screws and then put the center, the control box back here. That way it's out of the way, and then from there we're going to run and get a power source as well as a ground source so we can run the control box. From here we are going to start running the wires into the passenger side and then into the driver's side and run them right through the loom where we have our speaker wire, and then all the way to the actual actuator. So let's do it. Okay guys, here we have our main harness, we have our power and our ground. We haven't gotten to wire those up just yet, but our cable is running through the back here, basically to each side. You see there is our parking lights cable that's going to be used later on, but we have our 2 doors running where they need to go. Let me focus here real quick. So we have our 2 doors. We are finishing here the driver's side, but as you can see, we're going to use the same plugs we use for the speakers, kind of like what we did on the Mazda as well. We're running all the wires through them, putting them inside the loom so they're nice and protected, and then it's going to be running right through the bottom of here. It's going to be zip tied to the top so it's out of the way. And if we go over to the passenger side, go over here, we have, as you can see, nice inside the loom there, nice and protected. We have our wire running through here. We zip tie it so make sure it's out of the way, out of any moving parts, and this one is all nice and connected already. So that one's good to go. We need to finish up, like we said, the driver's side, and then finally hook up power, make sure everything is functioning properly, correctly, and then we can start putting everything back up. So as you can see here, everything is zip tied out of the way as well. So we are pretty close to being done now. We need to just finish up here, so let's do it. All right, guys, so we have our wiring all in place, so now we need to connect our power and our ground. And for our power, we're gonna do a similar system like we did in the Mazda. We're basically gonna tap into the constant power from the radio, and that's gonna give us enough to open and lock our doors. And then for our ground point, we're gonna use one of these bolts down here, basically. If you see, you have 2 bolts here. We're gonna just unplug one of them. We already tested with a test light that ground works fine. So we're gonna put our ground there. And then we are pretty much ready to start testing first. Make sure everything's locking and unlocking fine. And then we're gonna start putting our door panels, wrapping this up, putting it all back together, and then putting our door panel over here. And we're gonna be pretty much close to being done. So let's finish up and then we'll show you guys the final product. All right, guys, we have our ground connected on the bolt on the side. Like I told you earlier, we have our power connected here to the constant power as well. We plugged in our box before we put everything back together. So now we are gonna test it. So hit it, unlock, and lock. It's working good, working good. It's all working good now, perfect. So everything's good. We're ready to basically start putting everything back together in place where it needs to go and put it away. And we have working power locks. So let's finish up and... All right, guys, so we have our door panels back in place. Everything's good there. We have our cables out of the way. We have our center panel back in there. Passenger door in place now. And then now we have a remote here. If I can focus into it. Now we have our remote here. We'll do a lock and unlock. All right, so we have our door closed, lock, can open it, unlock, and everything's working good. Everything's working good here. We also added dual USB charger / bulb meter in here. We'll link you guys to that video if you want to check it out how we did it. Check it out over there on the top. But everything is good to go. It's pretty much ready to rock and roll. No more having to worry about the key being locked inside of the truck. You can just lock it and unlock it with the remote, which is awesome. And just in case you guys were wondering too, I know we used kind of the same kit for both trucks. This remote does not open my truck, and my remote does not open this one. I tested it a little bit earlier just to make sure. Sometimes you get that, for example, with our underground lights. He can turn on my lights and I can turn off his lights with my remote because they're probably using the same kind of frequency. Luckily for these ones, they are separate like it should be. So you don't have to worry about that. Or anyone else having the same kind of remote and opening your door. So you should be good there. But yeah, everything's looking good. So there you have it, guys. That's all it takes to install a set of power locks on your Nissan Hardbody. This process went a lot quicker and a lot smoother just because of the experience we had from the first time around when we did it on my Mazda. So it just made this go a lot quicker. It's really easy. Hopefully this video helps you guys install a set on your Nissan. But what do you think, Brian? I think it's a much needed improvement.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where I've locked myself out of the vehicle by leaving my keys in the ignition. And I've had to ask Bryan 2 or 3 times to come and rescue me. But now with this, I mean, it's a lot beneficial. Just because, you know, sometimes it happens, you forget your keys inside of your vehicle. So
hopefully this way is gonna prevent, you know, locking yourself out of the truck. It's gonna be able to just lock it and unlock it from being, you know, not having the key with you. So that's gonna be very nice. I had them in my Mazda now for probably a month or so, and they're still working perfect. Everything's working nice. So far the kit's been pretty good. And like always, we'll link to you guys in the bottom. Check out the description if you want to find the kit that we're using today. You're gonna find links to everything down there. But overall, we're pretty happy with it. This install went a lot faster, so we're pretty happy with that as well. And hopefully it's gonna help you guys do it on your truck. And that's pretty much all we have for today, guys. Thank you for watching. So don't forget to check us out and follow us on Instagram if you get a chance. If you have any questions, talk to us there. It's a lot faster to respond back and forth than it is on YouTube. But that's really all we have, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye. Controls instead of having to get himself locked out with the key.
Take 4.